Hello, thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. I'm Nikki Maduro. She is Kim McAllister. Thank you for joining us on this show where there's so much happening right now. But before we get to all of it, please click the thumbs up button and the subscribe button if you have not already. I was reading some of the comments too. Apparently, there's this crown thing in the comments. I don't know what that is all about, but apparently there's crowns. So crowns to everybody that's first in line for being here. So I don't
there's crowns.
Yeah, I don't think Nikki and Kim have any control over the crowns. It's a YouTube thing. I saw this. I don't know what the crown thing. I'm not in charge of crowns. So if anyone's asking, it's a comment thing. I'm not in charge of any crowns. It's a YouTube thing. So I have no idea what the crown thing is all
I don't
about.
see anybody wearing crowns in the chat. Tell me about the crowns. What's with the crowns?
Yeah, so if you guys are in the comments and you're seeing crowns, I have no idea what the crowns are. We are not handy. Oh, Dave says it's for top supporters. And then Kim says the crowns are new. Whoever comments the most gets the number one. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, comment away, people. Comment away.
Get your crown. That's weird.
Like,
all right.
I know what the crowns are about. But you can, support us a different way if you can. Patreon, PayPal, we are 100% crowdfunded. The super chat and the super stickers are also live. We definitely need your help, especially this summer. I am leaving on Monday, but we will be having shows every Thursday at 5 o'clock. Do not worry. And I will be posting on my socials, Nikki Maduro on Facebook. Instagram, I'll be posting pictures, and of course on YouTube as well. But Facebook probably is the easiest for me to write everything out. But I will be making my way all the way across the country. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the hell is going on as I view the United States through the lens of what is going on right now, which is absolutely nuts. So the news today, obviously, Kim, is Donald Trump has said that he is going to decide in 2 weeks whether or not the U.S. is going to strike Iran. He's going to allow for diplomacy. That's what his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, is saying. It is scary times right now. I will say this: it's frightening to believe that Donald Trump is the one making this decision. I heard one person saying and describing like he's not even coherent sometimes when he is speaking. And this is the guy that is making the decision. Now, of course, Donald Trump broke a promise that he had made the first time he was president, which was he was going to have a much better deal than that failed Obama era Iran nuclear deal, right? Like he pulled us out of it because he wanted to have a much better deal and never came up with one. Shocking. It reminds me of healthcare. You know what I mean? We're gonna have a better deal, and then he never got around to having one.
Plan, Nikki. Concepts of a plan.
But the truth of the matter is, if you looked at the Obama's Iran nuclear deal, it was going to expire this year if we didn't extend it anyway. Now, of course, if we would have kept it in place, maybe would have negotiated. Who knows? We can't look into a crystal ball and say what would have happened because, we didn't stay in it. So we have no idea. But if everything would have stayed the same and we didn't do anything, that deal would have expired in 2025. And so it's scary. It's very, very frightening what's going on right now. I think nobody feels safe. I don't know about you. I was quite surprised when my daughter even asked me, are we going to have World War III?
Wow.
And I was taken aback. She asked me if we already are. You know what I mean? Like, it surprised me that I had to kind of be. And you know what was also interesting, Kim, is the concept of war to children. And she is still a child. She's 16, but she's a child. And she had this concept of war being fought here. You know what I mean? Like they're going to come here. And and trying to explain to her that, no, But we have soldiers and military and all those sorts of things, and who knows what can happen. But it's very frightening what's happening right now. And of course, the people that are in the Middle East, and what's going on in Israel, and the strikes that are happening. It's frightening right now. And let us know in the comments how you're feeling as well. Go ahead.
I don't mean to be like a throw fuel on the freak out fire, but
Mhm.
when you talk about the way we used to fight wars versus the way we fight now,
Mhm.
and the way that fighting has changed, I feel like there's a very real possibility that we could see a war of terrorism coming back to America. So
Mm.
I mean, in the Middle East, it's common you pick up you read I was gonna say go pick up a paper, you open a news site, and you see, there's a bombing at a crowded market, or there's
Right.
I don't put it past people to be angry enough with the United States for causing death and destruction in their part of the world to take it out on us and come here and do things to civilians in America. Like, it wouldn't surprise me that it would be another reason for someone to try to attack us on
Right.
our own soil.
Yes, I mean, and I hear you, but I think that what we're seeing, the images of missiles hitting buildings, I
Right.
think those images happening
Yeah.
here is what she maybe was alluding to, right?
Mhm.
That type of thing. I can't even imagine living in a war zone like that.
Right.
I don't Americans don't have any sort of comprehension. I mean, 9/11
Yeah.
was that was why we were so
Mhm.
shocked by that. Let's read some of the comments, uh, this idea that Iran's gonna be gone, right?
Mhm.
It's really interesting. Yeah, Phineas was the one that said it. In 2 weeks, Iran will be done. Calvin, he's moving more military assets in the Middle East, like aircraft carriers.
True. True.
True. Gordon, Trump caused the war. And
Wow.
somebody else was saying it's always 2 weeks, and that's another thing. He talked about Russia at 2
Yeah.
weeks. It's always
In 2
it
weeks, I'll have a big announcement. In 2 weeks, we'll
weeks.
know
It's always
more
2 weeks.
about the
2
big
weeks.
lie in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like my mom. Everything's always 10 minutes away, right? It's no, it's not actually true. Um, it's we don't know what's going to happen, and that's the truth. And he even said, what was it yesterday? I make my decision within the last second. I don't want my president making a decision like this, but in the last second.
Yeah.
Vilma, haven't we been to the Middle East before? Been there, done that. Let's not go there again. A lot of people were bringing up the WMDs. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like this explanation. Some people were saying, I have 18-year-old sons now. I don't want to do a round two of this.
Yep.
Um,
I I I'm struck by, at any other point, even with Bush in charge, it Bush 1 or 2,
right.
I didn't feel this way, but with Trump, even in his first episode, and now we have season 2, I always felt uncomfortable with him being in charge of having the finger on the button of our nuclear weapons.
Right.
I want someone in the White House and in this position who is clear, level-headed, and takes time to think things through, and who's surrounded by good people with good information.
Yeah.
None of these things are happening now. I don't trust Trump at
I don't trust
all.
his administration. I don't
I
trust
don't trust
Hegseth.
I don't trust anyone around him to be making good decisions, and that's what's different this time for me,
Yeah,
is
exactly.
the people that are in charge are giant
Frightening.
red question marks. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Sue Ann, I was talking to my daughter about this as well. Congress has to approve going to war. Trump
Mhm.
isn't supposed to be able to just do it since we haven't been attacked. Exactly. But doesn't seem like Donald Trump likes to do things with congressional approval, does it?
No. Mm-mm.
And then there's this question of our weapons being able to do what he says they can do. I don't and do we even want to start this? It's frightening, right? It's absolutely frightening. And the promise that he made to MAGA, right? To even get involved. And then this is splintering his base and his party. It's a complicated decision to make. What, not that drunk Hegseth? Trust him to make me a stiff drink, not so much with war strategy. Exactly. And keeping it a secret. And not letting anybody know what our decision is going to be. That's what's driving me nuts.
Calvin says Iran isn't an innocent kid. State-sponsored terrorism for decades.
Yes.
All they have to do is have nuclear inspectors and that they reject them. I don't think anyone's arguing that Iran is the good guy here. I don't think anyone's arguing that Iran needs to have nuclear weapons. I think the question is, what do we do about that? Do we want to attack them? Do we want to start a war with a country like that? Are diplomatic relations really over? You know, you have Trump calling for the killing of their leader. These are fighting words, right? How much do we want to do? Do we want to close the door to negotiating? I don't know.
Well, that's what Trump is saying. I think Trump likes, what is it that Leavitt always says, you know, power through strength or whatever, right? I think that Donald Trump likes to talk tough, right? Talking tough. And I will actually say this. I would much rather have tough talk and no war, right? Like I don't want to go to war. I don't want to go to war. But at the same time, it's a complicated situation. Yeah. No one's defending Iran here. You know what I mean? I think the question is, do we get involved and how much do we get involved?
I saw that Trump had this situation room gathering last night or yesterday where they were talking about what to do, and he was asking questions about, you know, does the bunker busting bomb, would it take out their nuclear facilities, this type of thing. And for the first time I looked at him and he looked haggard. You know, these life and death decisions where the world hangs in the balance. And this is why the president of the United States typically goes in looking one way and comes out of that office looking like hell. And it's never affected him before because I don't think he ever really gave a crap before. Right. And this might be the time where he's like, oh, shoot. Right. Where this is now, this is a big deal. If the United States gets involved in some type of Middle East conflict and possibly touches off a World War III, this could be a big thing for him, and he could be dealing with this for the rest of the time he's in office, and this will go down and what he'll be remembered for, right?
Well, and it goes against his whole America First agenda, which is why the GOP, Republicans, Trumpers are splintering, because this goes against what he ran on, right? No more forever wars, no more wars, right? Because the world won't go to war while Donald Trump is president, because he's president and he's powerful. Remember? That's why the Russia-Ukraine thing didn't happen under his watch, right? That's why it happened under Biden. Right? That's why. Because it wouldn't happen under Donald Trump because he's strong and Biden was weak. Because Donald Trump believes that. But now this, he doesn't know if he can control just by him being president. And he was America First, no more wars, keeping us out of everything, right?
He was the peace president, he said. No wars under Trump. But it just shows you how silly he is, how he never understood the job, how you can't promise that. You don't know. There he is. Oh, I'll have it all over with one phone call. There will be no wars. It'll be peace, peace, peace. You don't know that. You don't know what's going to happen, who's going to do what. What a silly man.
Exactly. Well, I do like the infighting, though. Now, I have to play the clips. I'm sure many of you have seen it between Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz. Now, I will say this. I don't like either person. I'm not going to play these as if I totally agree with Tucker Carlson or Ted Cruz, obviously. No.
Mhm.
I'm going to play them. What I like about this is it's refreshing to actually see the infighting. I just love it. But that they can actually, it's nice to see that a politician can be called on the carpet and still stay there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh, and Tucker Carlson can actually call out a Republican, because I didn't think it was actually possible. Right. And that's what it actually pisses me off, because they
Mhm.
should have been doing this all along. Let's start with this one. So it became like a whole semantics thing
Yeah.
in between them. But the thing that I hate about Tucker Carlson is
I
but that I loved about it. Well, one, he's so snarky. He's so annoying.
I hate them both.
I hate them both, but he's so annoying. Where was he? Like, obviously, I know, because he's just a sycophant. But it's just, I wish it could have been used for good. Does that make sense? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Is
why
yeah,
can't you do this in an honorable way instead of just a way? He's just doing it for his own good because it's a topic that
right.
he doesn't want.
It's a PR stunt. He's just trying to get people to watch his weird little
Well, no,
network.
because he believes in it. He doesn't want the war.
Mhm.
He does not want
Yeah.
the U.S. to go to war. So that's why he's pissed off at Ted Cruz.
Does Tucker Carlson really believe in anything?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I have
I
no
mean, he's the
idea.
one that goes to Russia and gives interviews to Putin and, you
Oh
know,
yeah, Tucker Carlson's a complete asshole.
Tucker Carlson believes in Tucker Carlson. That's
Yes,
the only thing he
exactly.
believes in. So I don't know what he's really trying to do other than to get attention for himself. But how odd though to have a guest on and give them a pop quiz like that.
Oh
You
no.
can get them to disagree. You can disagree with them about a war. You can have a fight and bicker over it, but it seems always awkward to me when people are like, ask you a question to see what you know. Like, what do
Right.
you know?
Well, it wasn't, I mean, I guess the question was valid. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It was valid. He also asks in another one, well, the racial makeup of it.
Right.
Um, it's kind of like, it reminds me, even though he never answered it, when Donald Trump, even though I think the question was not a gotcha question, I think it was on the honest curiosity, when someone
Mhm.
asked what was Donald Trump's favorite biblical passage, or Old Testament or New Testament, and he's like, I like them both or something. You know what I mean? It was and he's like, I just like the book. Um, it's it's just it just shows that you're full of shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that Ted Cruz really cares. He just wants to go to war, and he wants to get rid of Iran. He's on Israel's
Mhm.
side, and he wants to get rid of Iran. That's it. Period. They could have ended the interview right then and there. Period. He wants to
Yep.
go to war. That's it.
Yeah.
And Tucker Carlson, maybe you're right. He just wants to promote a show, but
Mhm.
he is not wanting to go to war. Now,
Right.
this one, I'm going to play this one. This is a concerning one, and this has more to do, and I wanted to play this for you because of the whole religious aspect. How much religion influences specifically Ted Cruz, but it was just, does he realize what he's saying and how much it's influenced a quite
Mm.
important decision? I'm blown away by the fact that Ted Cruz, and I'm taking the whole Bible, but the fact that he goes on a show and is basing political decisions and saying that kind of blew my mind a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if your whole moral code is based on the Bible, you could say, well, I decided that I don't think we should go to war because I believe in the 10 commandments and thou shalt not kill. Or you could say, I believe in
But
an
they
eye
do
for an
believe in
eye.
that.
I believe in an eye for an eye, and I think we should go to whatever. There's so many different things you could pull from the Bible for to point at the Bible and go, we should or we shouldn't. It's very silly. And
Well, that's so great that you brought up,
yeah.
the whole, like, thou shalt not kill, because
Mhm.
he's saying he's a Christian. That's
Yeah.
also in the Bible,
Right.
thou shalt not kill. And obviously he doesn't believe in that because he wants to go to war. It just, I don't know. It was an interesting interview. It was a
Very
it
interesting.
was a very interesting interview. What I liked, and I'm putting this in quotes, what I liked about it, one is it showed the fracturing
Mhm.
of, but I think that it's a good, I don't know how to put this. It's a complicated discussion, right? It is, I think it's an honest splintering of the discussion of
Mhm.
how America is dealing with this situation.
Right.
There are significant number of Americans who believe, yes, under no situation we should be going and stepping into this conflict. And there are others that are saying, no, America first, no war, let Israel deal with the situation, and that's it. America should not be getting involved. You know what I think? I'm glad I'm not president of the United States.
Dave
That's what I
says,
think.
"You think that's scary? Speaker Johnson is a Seven Mountain
Oh God.
evangelical. Read about that sometime." I don't know what a Seven Mountain
I don't either, but
evangelical is.
everything evangelical
I'm
scares the
kinda
crap out
scared
of
to
me.
read at. Oh, I mean, I know they're all holy rollers, but I didn't know.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
I
evangelicals just yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess we all have a personal bias that it's sometimes hard to put away, and if you were raised to believe certain things, then that's hard to put away. But what that interview showed me is that Tucker Carlson is a jerk and that
He's
Ted
such a tool.
Cruz is
He's
not the
such a
best, is not the brightest bulb on the tree.
They're both tools. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's what made it so, but I swear Tucker is, I would never want to do an interview with Tucker Carlson just
Mm-mm.
from the way he's like, it was really interesting that he knew that line and he knew it was Genesis. Because
Yeah.
the fact that he knew it, and he didn't know Ted Cruz was going to say it, but he
Right.
knew it.
Yeah.
That was
And then he's like, "Oh, where's
that's a
that in the
gold
Bible?"
star. That's a gold star for Tucker. He's like, that's Genesis, by the way. Like that was, dude. Don't mention shit you don't know off the top of your head, man. Like, don't quote stuff you don't know. Like that just was, well, whatever. I was cracking up. I was really, really cracking up. But you know, it's 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 going to be very interesting
Mhm.
to see how this plays out in the next 2 weeks, especially amongst the Republican Party and the Trump base. John
Yeah.
says we are already involved.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
sorry.
It's to what degree? Right. The
Mhm.
US is supplying arms and techs. Yes. But we apparently are the only country that has the technology to take out this bunker or whatever in Iran.
Mhm.
That's the level of involvement that we're talking about here, right? So, um, yeah, I
I'm
don't
reading
know.
this story on NBC, and it talks about the Trump is surrounding himself with just a small, small circle of people he's asking for advice. So it says
Mhm.
that despite often asking a broader group of people what they think he should do,
Mhm.
Trump tends to make many decisions with a handful of administration officials, and that includes Vice President J.D. Vance, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller,
Ugh.
and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who is also now the interim national security advisor. Trump also leans on his Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, and I and now Hegseth. He's leaning on
Not
Hegseth.
Hegseth.
Hegseth, yeah. So these are the people surrounding him. These are the people he's listening to. These are the people that have his ear. Secretary Hegseth is providing the leadership the Department of Defense and our armed forces need, and he will continue to work through diligently in support of President Trump's peace through strength agenda. Yikes.
Well, yeah, I just don't know what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Again, I say the next few days are going to tell everything. I really do. 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't know if this can last 2 weeks. I mean, again, the strikes are continuing to happen. I don't understand how this can last 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I don't know. All I know is, it sucks. It's just, and while this happens, they're saying, and I know this is nowhere close to like what's happening in Israel and Iran, but here at home, gas prices and oil prices are going to go through the roof.
Mhm.
Okay. So they were saying the Strait of Hormuz can be blocked. That is one of the major ways we get oil, right? If this war does happen, excuse me,
Mhm.
I mean, the gas prices are already going to be going up. If you haven't filled up your tank yet, do it now. Obviously, California is going to get screwed. We always
I
do.
was thinking about this yesterday when I had to fill up, and I said, "Julia, make sure you top it off. Like, get as much gas in there as you can because
Yep.
prices are going up." I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And every time something happens in the Middle East,
Yep.
the price of a barrel of oil shoots right up. So
Yeah.
that,
But they're
you know,
saying all 49 states within
yeah.
probably by next week are going to see a huge spike.
Mhm.
Now, of course, sucks for someone about to drive across the country.
Yeah.
It's really looking forward to those cheaper gas prices, but whatever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It is what it is. I just paid $4.09. I think that was the cheapest.
Mhm.
Oh, $3.97. Where'd you get that? Branham, Willow Glen area? Where'd you get that, Yvonne? I'll go. Well, I literally just filled up yesterday, but I have to drive to Sacramento tomorrow, so I'll probably have to top off again.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's scary. But we'll see. We'll absolutely see. Other news. Today is June 19th, Juneteenth.
Mhm.
Happy
Trump
Juneteenth.
isn't celebrating that.
Oh, no. And he's not making any sort of proclamation. What headline did I see? He said something that there's too many holidays, non-working holidays, for people. I'm like, dude, shut the hell up. Like, honestly, you don't say anything about any other freaking holiday. But I wanted to play. It kind of goes with what's happening in Iran. Fox's Harris Faulkner, okay? She was criticizing The View hosts, specifically Whoopi Goldberg, talking about what happened in Iran. I want your take on this a little bit, okay? Because they were trying. Well, I'm just going to play you what they said. And I want you guys, and this kind of ties into Juneteenth. Who do you agree with, Whoopi or Harris Faulkner and the guy that she was talking with? Now, I have my thoughts. Here we go.
Americans who say, come on, it's 2025.
The Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
I'm sorry, but where the Iranian regime is today in 2025 is nothing compared to the United States.
Hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I think it's very different to live in the United States in 2025 than it is to live in Iran.
Not if you're black.
Not for everybody.
Not if you're black.
Guys, don't go to Tehran.
Shano.
It's asinine what I just heard from Whoopi Goldberg. You know, we're two black individuals, and we've done well, we're successful, and there's a lot of other folks like us around. This is not Jim Crow. This is not slavery. And to be making those kind of comparisons is despicable.
Yeah, I mean, just to make that comparison and not give the world credit on where we've come from. It's Juneteenth. It's June 19th.
Exactly
we know
right.
where we have been. That is not 2025. I really, your last word on this, and we'll move.
What do you think?
I don't have the experience of being someone of color or someone that is a different, sexuality or, has gender issues, whatever. I said that wrong, but I don't come from that space where it's difficult for me to live in this society. Having said that, I have to say, I tend to disagree with Whoopi on this one. I think it's very different being gay in America, where yes, you're probably going to face, or trans or whatever, you're probably going to face some discrimination, right? But versus living in Iran. If you come out as gay in a country where it's it's Sharia law or whatever that they govern by using the Book of Islam, they don't have any tolerance for you. I don't know what they do to you, but I don't think it's legal.
Yeah.
I think there's a big difference between being in America and being different, at least for right now, for today. Tomorrow could be different the way we're going.
Right.
But it feels to me like there's a big difference in that they'll kill you. I think they kill you. I think they put you in jail. I think that they do bad things to you if you're gay in those countries, and you can't be who you truly are in those countries.
Danielle says Whoopi was right. And yes, Iran treats women and gays horribly, but we are headed right there.
Right.
I think it's a mixture, right? I think it matters where you are. It matters, I would say, depending on the neighborhood, depending on the state, right? The community, you are treated better or worse. Now, does that mean we haven't made progress? And I think that was Harris Faulkner's point. Have we made some progress? Absolutely. Has Iran? No. Right?
I think the difference is state sponsored, though.
Right.
So, know, you'll face discrimination. You may face violence and threatening behavior to you by other people who disagree with you, especially as politics heats up in America.
Yes.
But it's not like the government will come take you away and put you in jail because you're gay yet.
Well,
right?
I mean, they just took away the Supreme Court, ruling against gender affirming care, right? I mean, not saying it's state-sponsored murder, but there are things that our government or our courts have done that to people of certain sexualities, probably do feel like they're being discriminated. It's not the same, though. I'm not trying to conflate the two.
It's different.
It is different.
What I'm
that's
saying
why
is,
I think
if you're in Iran and you say I'm gay, they come and arrest you and take you to jail, correct?
Right. Yeah.
And that's the least of your problems. I don't know if they kill you or if you're sentenced to death or what they do to you. That's different. If you say you're trans, they're coming for you. That's different than a law saying, not to provide gender affirming care for children.
Right.
You may or may not disagree with that, but that's not saying you can't be trans. It's saying wait till you're of age and then you'll have to figure out how to pay for it on your own. That's different than if you're trans, we're going to lock you up and throw away the key.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, right.
I'm not saying either of things are right. I mean, it's like you want to shoot yourself in the hand or the foot. I mean, it all sucks and none of it's the correct way to treat people, but I'm just saying, like, it's draconian in one place and it's underhanded, sneaky threats in another.
Louise says, yeah, go be African American and trans in Deliverance America and you won't live long. We are in a bubble in California. And that's exactly. Like, we are in a bubble here. And I think that was probably Whoopi's point, is not everywhere is like that. But again, just to agree with you one more time, it's the state sponsored. It's the government doing it. That's the difference. So it was just a really interesting kind of comparison that just shocked me a little bit. There's a new Smartmatic filing that came out yesterday. So basically, Smartmatic, it was one of the voting machine companies.
Oh, yeah.
So yesterday, it presented overwhelming evidence that Fox News not only defamed the company, but did so knowingly and deliberately at the discretion of Rupert Murdoch and senior leadership in a desperate attempt to retain their angry viewers. Because remember, they had to come out and say, no, we didn't steal the election, blah, blah, blah. A legal filing submitted in New York highlights that Fox's reckless actions not only inflicted damage on Smartmatic, but undermined Americans' faith in free and fair elections. This stems from the defamation lawsuit against Fox over its promotion of false claims about the company's role in the 2000 U.S. presidential election. The thing that I find so interesting about this whole entire thing is that both sides have filed motions asking the court to rule in its favor. But the most important information in the motions are currently redacted. Smartmatic has told the court that it supports transparency and believes most, if not all, the information should be unredacted and available to the public. Fox has not, because they don't want it. But there is this article in Mediaite, and they were saying that the people that worked for Fox News absolutely knew that they were lying about the election.
It doesn't surprise me.
No, and that's
They
what
didn't care.
They did not care. And this is the thing that bothers me, is that Donald Trump still continues to say it. Fox's defense strategy was to bury the truth under an avalanche of misdirection and strawman, and seeks to focus the case on a very simple truth. This is Smartmatic's motion. Fox knowingly lied about the company that lied about a company that did nothing wrong, arguing that Fox's defenses about freedom of the press are misdirection from the cable news networks, damning patterns of misconduct. They shouldn't be on air. I mean, I don't understand how Fox News still stays on, but the danger about it all, not only are they still on air, but that MAGA has switched channels to like Newsmax and OAN, because they think now that Fox News is fake news because of the lawsuits, and they can't say, they have to like now say the truth because they'll get sued again. Now they think that they're fake news, and they're going to even faker news. That's what's frightening.
Yeah.
That's what's frightening.
Trump only likes and Trump and friends, Trump and co, they only like the news that they want. If it's a story that makes them look good, or something they agree with, thumbs up. Other than that, any fact-based stories, poof, you're gone. I saw an article earlier about Trump freaking out over a polling that appeared on Fox News. The polling did not put him in a favorable light. And so all of a sudden today and yesterday, Fox News has gone downhill and it's fake news and this and that and the other. After how many years did they support everything that he was trying to say? I just,
He's also going over the Wall Street Journal because they're obviously giving honest criticism and facts about the president. He doesn't like that. You are a liar if you criticize the president. That's it. That is absolutely it. And it's dangerous. And that's why we had the protest, freedom of the press, freedom of speech. You can't shut down the press simply because you don't like what they say. You can't do that. But that's what Donald Trump tries to do. His Truth Social. The crooked Fox News polls got the election wrong. I won by much more than they said I would, and have been biased against me for years. They're always wrong and negative. It's why MAGA hates Fox News, even though their anchors are great. Obviously, their anchors.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's so stupid. He's just absolutely dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this? Oh, yeah, there you go. He's just.
He says the polling, the crooked Fox News poll has been biased against him for years. There was a release of a survey in June showing 53% of respondents approve of his handling of border security, 46% don't, and that is 2 points lower than the April survey by Fox showing 55% approved of his border handling. So merely by saying your approval of the border handling went down, you lose your mind. Look at that.
He's smoking something. I mean, this is him, talking about, Iran and the gas prices, and he's still lying about all the prices. Listen.
No, in California, we've got some gas stations where just 2 weeks ago it was $1.98, $1.99. We've got the gas down below. Then we have this little situation which will drive it up a little bit, but very little. And it's going to come down again. Going to give people a lot of extra money. Groceries are down.
No,
eggs
they're not.
are down, the eggs. They hit me the first week about eggs. But no, I think that, look, you know what I do whenever they no.
Yeah, so that's him literally talking about the impact of the Iran-Israel conflict, talking about the gas price. Oh, just a little bit, it's going to go up. He's just feeds you a line of bullshit. So he's just going to say it over and over and over.
Yeah,
I
let me
mean,
roll right down to downtown Petaluma for $1.98 gas. Are you kidding? It's been hovering at $4.98 for a while now.
And somebody was talking about the gas prices. They said even wholesale prices aren't even under $2. Not even wholesale prices. And I know it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, John, but if he lies about the little things, right? If you lie about the little things. I used to have a boyfriend that lied about all the little things. You know, if they lie about the little things, they're going to lie about the big things.
That's right.
You know, that's it. Florida's Attorney General is calling for Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to be deported. This was for criticizing last weekend's military parade in Washington, D.C. Here it is. Let me show you the video. This was Ilhan Omar. This is the tweet. This is the X post. He says, denaturalize and deport. And the end wokeness thing says, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, quote, we are turning into the worst countries on earth. She doesn't actually say worst countries on earth. This is what she says.
To be coming out of our country. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights, while our president is spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade. It is really shocking, and it should be a wake-up call for all Americans to say this is not the country we were born in. This is not the country we believe in. This is not the country our founding fathers imagined. And this is not the country that is supported by our Constitution, our ideals, our values. And we should all collectively be out in the streets rejecting what is taking place this week.
Now, worst countries. I obviously, we're not one of the worst countries. But what's happening is the worst. I mean, I don't want to see the militarization on our streets. I don't want to see what also is happening, which is, warrantless arrests of people, of American citizens. I don't want racial profiling happening in my streets. I don't want the show me your papers happening in my streets. I don't want that. I don't want that happening in the United States of America. And that's why we protested. I don't want to lose my First Amendment rights. I don't want that. Is that wrong?
None of what you said is wrong. I will say that there are times, most of the time, I'm not really like an Ilhan Omar fan. I think she can be a little too out there for me. But what she just said, I agree with.
Right.
Including us right now approaching, I think she said we're one of the worst countries. I'm not in other countries. I don't know how everybody handles immigration. But when I see masked agents from God knows what agency, are they ICE? I don't know. We don't know. They're not wearing any identifiers on them. Right. Coming and sweeping people off the streets. There was a situation in Los Angeles where someone said this guy was being arrested by ICE agents or whoever, or taken into custody. And there was a man that walked up and said, I know this person. Please don't arrest them. They're a citizen. They're a citizen. He's yelling, they're a citizen. And then that guy was taken down as well.
Yeah.
This is a dangerous situation. And now we're at the point where, and we saw with Kilmar Abrego Garcia and others, that you can just be sent off without even being taken in front of a judge and having your day in court. Your family doesn't know where you are. No one cares to tell them. It's not American. It is not constitutional. And we're throwing away the laws which make us stand out from other countries, which give us rights that people in other countries don't have.
Exactly.
So when she says we're one of the worst countries, perhaps we're certainly not America. We're not the America we were before Trump took office.
Right. This ideal, right, that we have of our country, this idea that we can't criticize our country needs to be thrown out, right? Criticizing our country is our right. It is American. You have to be critical of your country in order to keep it great. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. That's part of a democracy, right? Calling people on the carpet, holding people accountable, right? But now the Trump administration is trying to make it policy to look at your social media if you're from a foreign country coming in here, to see who you are. Like, are you critical of us? Are you whatever?
Right.
I just like it. Your ideas. There's a difference between, are you a terrorist coming in versus, do you just not like Trump, but you still want to come to Harvard and study and be a scientist? Like, I don't know. Dark days are here. Very dark days.
Just because you don't like the Trump administration doesn't mean you hate America.
Yeah.
That doesn't, those two things are not the same. I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like him. I don't like his administration. I don't like his ideas. I love my country. You know what I mean? I'm an American. You know what I mean? I want to continue being. I am an American. I am. You can't take that away from me. I am an American citizen. So, and not liking my president is my right. I can dislike my president.
And Phineas makes the argument, wake up, Trump said he was going to do all of this. And Phineas isn't wrong. He told us, and what is it? We always say it on this show. Was it Maya Angelou who said, when people show you who you are, believe them? He told us, he said even during the election, the run up to the election, that he wouldn't have a problem using the military against the people of America. He said it. He said mass deportations. He said all of this. He didn't necessarily say, I'm going to ignore judges or I'm going to ignore the Constitution.
Right,
exactly. He didn't say that. Although notice he didn't put his hand on the Bible, and he's such a believer when he was sworn into office. Yeah. He did tell us. You're right. He told us.
Well, ICE was down in LA outside Dodger Stadium today. Here's a little bit of a news report on that.
Just past Gate E of Dodger Stadium. It was a much larger number of agents earlier this morning. Right now, it's kind of whittled down a bit to about 4 vehicles, but it's also starting to attract a lot of attention from immigration activists. Here's what it looked like earlier this morning. Dozens of ICE agents gathering with their faces hidden, wearing tactical gear. This was shot around 9 o'clock this morning before the agents headed out to various locations in the area. We're hearing from elected officials that LA Council District 1 workers alerted LAPD of the staging at Dodgers Gate. LAPD then notified the Dodgers, and the organization apparently told the ICE agents to leave the property. But there are still a handful of masked federal agents here. Councilmember Eunices Hernandez showed up about 45 minutes ago and is upset that the agents have not left.
We've been in communication with the mayor's office, with the Dodgers, with Dodger Security, about seeing if they can get them moved off their private property. Public property is different, but private property, businesses and corporations have the power to say, not on my property. And so we're waiting to see that movement happen here.
You haven't heard if the Dodgers have told them to get off? Or?
My understanding is that, yes, there have been communications to get them to leave.
Wow.
I can't. I don't like the masks. I don't like the fact that they're not identifying themselves. I don't like the excuse. Oh, well, they're being doxxed. So what? So what? You signed up for the job. You signed up for that job. That's the risk you take, buddy. Sorry. That's the risk you take. You need to identify yourself as an ICE agent in order to take somebody into custody. I don't understand why this is okay.
What are your feelings about ICE agents?
I think that if we are using immigration customs enforcement agents to remove criminals from this country, okay. But they have to be criminals. And you have to identify yourself, and you actually have to have a warrant for somebody's arrest, and you have to be able to identify that person. You have to do it in a legal way. Just like you want someone to legally enter this country, you have to legally deport them. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
How about everybody follow the law? Right? So I don't like the whole breaking of the windows. I don't like that. They're not doing what they said. You said Donald Trump told us you were going to do this. There's not enough criminal, illegal immigrants here to meet the quota that Donald Trump claimed there were in the United States. If there were, he wouldn't be going to high schools and job sites.
And Home Depot parking lots and what have you. John Cottingham says, you okay with the masks of protesters? I find, and no offense, John Cottingham, but I find that's a nonsensical comparison. Protesters are not law enforcement officers. There's a big difference between the two. Anybody can protest. And I'm okay with protesters wearing masks for various reasons, whether they don't want COVID, whether they want to go out into the world, especially now in a world where we have the Trump administration applying fear as a tactic, right? People are being afraid to speak out. They're afraid that if they walk out of the house and they're brown, even if they're here legally, that they'll get swept up and taken away. So there's a big difference between what you're talking about and law enforcement officers wearing face masks and shielding their identity and not putting their badge number on their chest. That's not how we do things.
And how do I know that they're an ICE agent?
You
After
don't.
the assassination of a politician, anybody could be an ICE agent. So a sicko can buy himself a jacket, slap ice on it, cover his face. Now all of a sudden I have to go with him?
Right.
They don't identify themselves. They just get to drive up in an unmarked vehicle, say, I have a warrant for your arrest, and not identify themselves, break my window and drag me out. That's okay? That's okay? That's insane.
Yeah.
Think about that. Think about that. That's not okay. ICE has power. Law enforcement has power. And when you have power, you need to be able to, you need to identify yourself. You need to prove to me that you're not some wacko that's just kidnapping me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
This is
otherwise you're
true.
kidnapping me.
The state of California does have pending legislation that would make it illegal for any law enforcement agent, including ICE agents, to cover their face and not have a badge number on their chest. What is it that we're told as women when you're pulled over by a police officer, if you feel weird about it, because there are people that impersonate cops, right? Always make sure they say that you get the badge number of your person. You can even call in, Petaluma Police, is there an officer so-and-so with badge number XYZ? Yes, there is. Okay, I'll roll down my window and I'll talk to you. That you verify that you use these identifying things to keep yourself safe in such a situation. And I don't think police want you to be pulled over or hurt by someone who's impersonating them. They want the public to respect them and feel safe around them. They don't want to have fake people out there that are masquerading as someone in a position of power. Not true. So this whole covering your face thing, it makes it seem like, I don't know, it makes it seem sinister to me.
Well, if you're covering your face, I can't identify you.
Yeah.
So if you do something wrong, I can't prove that it's you. So if you put me in if you do something to me that's illegal, how do I know who you are? That we're immediately starting wrong. Okay. So how about if you are scared of being doxxed, don't become an ICE agent. How about that?
Yeah.
Don't become an ICE agent. I mean, you don't see cops. Cops have been getting shit for a long ass time.
Yep.
They're brave enough to show their faces. All of a sudden, ICE agents can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a hard time believing this. I'm feeling like there's something else going on here. Okay. And no, I don't think it's right for anybody to get doxxed. I don't think that that's actually happening. I think that's an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Because you
I'm
know what I've heard?
telling you.
I haven't heard of any ICE agents getting murdered inside their homes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. I don't want anybody to be harmed. I want people to do things legally. Okay. I want criminals to be removed from this country that are not supposed to be here. I want people that are in the process of becoming legal citizens to be allowed to do so.
Right.
I want ICE to stay the hell out of immigration courtrooms.
Right.
They're not supposed to be there.
Mm-mm.
I just want, just stop. It's just sad. It's just sad. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Vanessa, with another point, the Department of Homeland Security issued a policy limiting Congresspeople's access to ICE facilities, a direct violation of their right to oversight. It is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay out of hospitals, stay out of churches.
Mm-hmm. And schools. I have a kid who's freaked out that ICE is going to come arrest some of his friends.
Oh yeah. Absences are way up because kids don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
You know, and I already know, well, you shouldn't be in this country.
See, here's Kevin Wells. He says this: ICE has become nothing more than stormtroopers. I've also heard them called the brown shirts, right? And so allegations that Phineas said earlier that some of them are Proud Boys. Some of them are former
We don't know
who've been hired. We don't know any of this. This could be, it could not be. But they went from having the respect of being law enforcement officers to now, you know, the respect that we have for people in a position of authority to now, I think a lot of people don't see ICE agents that way. They look at them as the enemy. And this is, I think it means we're doing it wrong. When you can't take people into custody, if I'm in this country illegally, I'm going to say, you know, if I'm detained by an ICE agent, just like I'm detained, maybe I'm assuming this is how I would act. Like I'm detained when I'm speeding, when I'm pulled over. Yes, officer, I did that. Yes, I'm expecting that I'll be taken to the facility.
Right.
Yes, I understand. Would you mind if I grab my purse and call my family? It's done in a way that it doesn't have to be, you know, you're thrown to the ground and your face pushed in the dirt.
Exactly.
And your kids are screaming nearby. Like, this is not right.
No.
This is not right.
No, it's not. This isn't America. This is not how America does it. This is not how America, and we know that. So, I just don't know when it ends. You know what I mean? And again, I was explaining it to one of my friends, and you know, sometimes people just need to understand. Some people just don't understand what due process is. And so when you explain it to them in a way of like, if you don't have it, this is what can happen. They understand how scary it can be. So hopefully, I don't know. I don't know how many more things we have to keep an eye on, but we have to keep our eye on this. We have to keep an eye and make sure that we protect our fellow citizens.
Mama says, my stepson and my oldest are caramel skinned. My younger boys are fair skinned. And it absolutely breaks my heart knowing they'll be treated differently, even though they're literally brothers.
Yep, exactly. My daughter is lighter skinned. My son is darker skinned. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think about it?
Absolutely. I think about it. Absolutely. I think about it. You know, it's, and sometimes I feel like people that I care about don't, you know, just don't. It's really sad. So I want this BS to end. I really, really do. Louise, thank you so much for the donations. Donated $5 since gas is only $3.79 at my local Costco. Here's a few bucks. Also, happy Juneteenth, everybody. Yes, happy Juneteenth. And it came in again with another $5. The ice-capades are protecting me from a dude who fixed my roof and the lady at the taco truck selling me tacos. Puppy killer. You're the problem. Get out of SoCal. I mean, it's just, I swear. ICE is, I don't know who wants to become an ICE agent right now.
No.
And you know what? Some of them, this is the thing. And I don't know what they're, some of them look Hispanic. You know what I mean? Like, how do you do that?
I would think if you work as an ICE agent that they would have, before this, hired people who could speak different languages, that you would have a diverse crowd, because you would need to communicate with people you are taking into custody, right? Or explaining what's going on.
Yeah.
So you would think that these would be people who would be respectful of different cultures and different folks, but it doesn't seem like that right now. Cheryl says, I think the Trump administration is trying to make it look so scary so that people will just go berserk and people will hide out and he'll look like the most powerful person in the world.
Well, I was hearing a news story, I think it was last week. A lot of people are self-deporting. They are. A lot of people are self-deporting. So in that case, he is winning in that case.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they just don't want to even go through it. They're just like, screw it. I'm going back. They're just going back. Which I also don't have a problem with, I guess. You know what I mean? If you're doing it and you're choosing to do it, okay. I mean, I can't criticize that. If you're self-deporting and it's a decision you're making, okay. Okay. I don't like the rhetoric surrounding it. I would hate to lose, talent if we've educated you and things like that. But, I don't like the splitting up of families. I don't like, obviously the ICE agents.
I don't like
ICE
the
agents
fear.
do that. Yeah.
I don't like the fear that people have.
Yeah. Danielle says there's also some citizens that are self-deporting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you. They're like, I'm out, deuces. John, I don't know if you've gone to a protest. It's like the fraction of people that are masked at protests versus non-masked is minuscule.
John,
When
he's just silly. You're a law enforcement officer. You can't hide your face because you don't want people to know who you are. It's your job.
You're comparing apples to oranges here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if a protester is masked. It matters if somebody with a position of power is masked.
Right. Yeah. We have rules. If you're a member of the public, the rules are different for you rather than if you're a police officer or an ICE officer, law enforcement, different. Your argument is nonsensical. It doesn't compute.
This also doesn't compute. Let's switch gears a little bit to another a-hole.
It's a cavalcade of a-holes.
From ICE agents who are being a-holes to this a-hole, who I can't believe said this out. Well, I can't totally believe that he said this out loud. This is another one of this is another question that I'm not conflicted with what he says. I think what he said and who he said it to was completely wrong. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But is this sentiment wrong? If you want to do this, and if you want to spend the money to do this, okay. I just think the message and who it was directed to was completely wrong. I'm gonna play it for you. I'm just cold. But he's such an a-hole. But here you go. Here we go.
Hi, Charlie. I'm Addie, and I'm 14. I'm a freshman in high school, and I was wondering, as someone who has a different opinion on college, what would you say the pros and cons are? Because I'm interested in political journalism, and what would your advice be?
Yes, so let me also speak to some of the young ladies here in high school where who's here where your top priority is get married and have kids? Raise your hand. Okay. Interestingly, I think there is an argument to bring back the MRS degree. And no, seriously. And just be clear, that's why you're going to college, right?
What?
Don't lie to yourself. I'm studying sociology. No, you're not. We know why you're here. And that's okay.
Booze should be erupting right now.
That's a really good reason to go to college, actually.
But listen.
Especially an SEC school. You will find a husband if you have the intent to find a husband at Ole Miss. Like, it's just going to happen.
Like that,
okay?
I agree. I mean,
or wherever.
You can.
Yeah, there you go. See? Or at University of Alabama. But there you go. But I always laugh because, and by the way, we should bring back the celebration of the MRS degree, which is, no, serious. I mean, if you think about it, like, I say college is a scam, but if you're going to find your life partner, like, that's actually a really good reason to go to college. You have a bunch of people that are single, you know, they're at the prime of their, you know, let's just say attractiveness. The dating pool is as robust as you ever find, and they all live together over a 4-year period. Like, you don't get much better than that, okay? It doesn't get better after college there. And so, yeah, you could go learn some stuff. That's fine, I guess, or whatever. Just don't listen to your professors. But
what?
That actually was the reason why a lot of women went to college in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and it worked for a lot. Marriage rates have plummeted since that. So
now, just to put a side note on this, Charlie Kirk never went to college. I think he did a little community college.
Obviously, that's obvious.
But as far as
What a
formal
bonehead.
education, like he did a little bit of community college, and then he was like handpicked by the Turning Point. You know, he started Turning Point USA with that guy that ended up dying of COVID. Yeah, so doesn't have any sort of college experience. Doesn't believe that women obviously should go to college. This was my question. Not that Charlie Kirk is right. The MRS degree, which is Mrs., which is to get married. Is there anything wrong with going to college simply to want to get married, to find your husband?
Yes. 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 You don't go to college.
Let me know in the comments. Do you know anybody that just went, you know, yeah, they went to college, they got a degree, but they weren't really into it. Like they were hunting. They were hunting for a husband.
You might be adding it to your list of things you hope for. Gee, I hope I meet someone really cool at college. I hope there's cute boys here. I hope there's whatever. But
how many met? Oh, and I'll add this. How many met their husband in college? Okay, go ahead.
It's not the reason that you go to get educated. You're going for an education and maybe to meet, not maybe, but also in addition to becoming an educated person, you're going to achieve goals for yourself that will allow you to take care of yourself and your family. You could marry some guy and, you know, you're 35, they leave you for a 24-year-old, and then you've got a couple of kids and no education and no way to support them. You want to have a career, something to be able to fall back on, whether you get your husband or not. It's a nice thing if you meet someone. I'm not saying that it's not good to meet someone in college. I'm saying it's definitely not the reason you go. And for him to say that to a 14-year-old girl who just told him that she has aspirations to be a political journalist,
I know.
It means she's curious about the world and about asking questions and learning things. You have someone who should be encouraged and lifted up. And what he did was he demeaned her and all women in one fell swoop. What a piece of crap he is.
Exactly. And the fact of like, don't listen to your professors. Because obviously any college professor is going to be a liberal, right? And this is the thing that drives me nuts about conservative commentators is they are the biggest ones where it's like, just listen to me. You know, like it's always they're projecting what they want. Right? They're like, oh my God, they're grooming you to just do this. You're literally grooming to do what you want them to do. It's so frustrating. So, I mean, what do you think Turning Point USA does? Right? It's literally going to colleges, grooming young people to be conservatives. Like, you are literally doing what you are accusing colleges of doing. So, but on the Democratic side, liberal side, I mean, it's very disgusting. The whole idea of an MRS degree, though, the reason why I brought it up is I know some people, I mean, I did when I was younger, who, you know, they went to college, they got a degree, but like, Never used it. I mean, and I know a lot of people don't use their college, gotta have a job, but don't use the degree, don't have a job in the degree in which they are, right? I mean, just because they it just didn't work out that way. I wouldn't necessarily mean that that's an MRS degree, but there's some women that I know, they're just like, I don't want to work. Yeah, I went to college. Yeah, I got a degree. I don't want to. And that's their prerogative.
Right.
And that is true feminism, by the way. That is true feminism. You make the choice. If that's what you want. All I'm saying, and this is my big point, with the price of college in 2025, an MRS degree is way too damn expensive. Unless, you're rich already. I don't think an MRS degree is a very good idea at all.
I'm offended by that. Very offended.
Cheryl says, no, I don't know anyone who would want to go to college who wasn't passionate about a career.
Or learning or whatever.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's an awfully expensive way to meet someone.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot cheaper, yeah.
I would just go to the bars near the college then. Vanessa says, I've been more educated than all the guys I've dated. That's probably why I stayed single. That's funny. Yeah, I dated a guy that was, kind of shocked by my education. But, that's because he didn't go to college. My agreement with my wife to be equal partners. Exactly. See, Gordon, that's very good. Yeah, that's a good point, James. I blame that girl's parents for taking her to Charlie Kirk. And you heard the girls or the women, the young women, hooping and hollering out there. So obviously they went knowing who they were going to be listening to. So there had to be some sort of understanding that he was going to be speaking. But she, the 14-year-old girl, understood that he had a different opinion about college. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would never send my daughter to school and say, hey, go find yourself a husband. But you know what? Maybe it's a Southern thing too. I think that there's other parts of the country where they might be pushing that on women. Yeah. You know what I mean? And maybe we live in a bubble. Maybe that is something that maybe that's stereotypical, and I apologize if it is. But,
no, I think that there are some people who, there are some families that you're expected to marry someone of your stature. So if you're college educated, you want someone who's educated and presentable and knowledgeable at a dinner party and what have you. And so it's all of this thing. I feel it's demeaning. It's very demeaning to women to say, go to college and get educated. We know you'll never use it except at a dinner party, or we know you're only going to college to, to hook a dude. It's it's demeaning for women. I think that's a turd.
Exactly. And he is a turd. I love how these uneducated clowns have such deep opinions about higher education. That's a great point. Yeah. Someone that never went, who else? I think I don't know if Sean Hannity went to college, but he was, I think I don't know if he went to college. Where did Sean Hannity go to college?
I think he did.
New York University, he did. I thought that he didn't go to college, but yeah, I guess he did. Yeah. There was somebody else, I think, on Fox News that didn't go to college.
And I don't think that people that didn't go to college are stupid. To the contrary.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I know some people that are college educated. They're ding dong, and people that haven't, that are amazing. So it says nothing about your intelligence.
Absolutely not.
I have another a-hole, since we're on a string of the a-hole stories.
Oh, please.
Was the No Kings protest recently in my town. There were a bunch of people. There were the whole downtown. I was so proud of my community. There were so many people that showed up, and they were all over the sidewalks and the streets and the crosswalks, crossing from here to there. And this is a picture of an intersection in my town where there were protesters that were going against the green light for drivers. All right. You knew when you were downtown that you were going to have to use your patience because, it was hard to get anywhere. And there were a lot of people, as it is, then when they closed down downtown Petaluma for the American Graffiti Car Show or the Butter and Eggs Day Parade, it's going to be a mess, right? This guy, and I was down there, and you have to be respectful of protesters and people and drivers and everything else. This guy gets frustrated in the gray truck, and the protesters are walking across the street they had a red, the protesters had a red, and the driver had a green. He just barreled through anyway,
Oh
right through the
no.
crosswalk, and clipped a couple of people. Now
Oh
everybody's
no.
okay, but the guy just, and you can see them getting mad right there. The guy just kept going, and Petaluma police apparently have found him, and he may face charges because no matter what, even if you have the green light, you must yield to
Of
protesters,
course.
even
There's
if they're
people
walking on a
there.
red. Even if they're disobeying the law, you have to yield to protesters or to the
Obviously.
pedestrians
Yes.
rather. So yeah, so this happened in Petaluma, but this guy, wow, he just roared right through that intersection. Didn't care
Oh,
whether there were people
yeah.
on the crosswalk or not. What a jerk.
Yeah. Ours was pretty well done. I mean, there was thousands of people, I would say. I mean, I'm terrible with crowd numbers, but there was a
Mhm.
lot of people in San Jose. The funny thing was there was drivers like waiting for us at lights. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you're gonna be here for like 20 minutes, dudes.
Yeah.
And cops were, there
Mhm.
stopping the traffic. And I'm like, why are you not detouring people
Right.
away? I mean, they should have known about the march. It
Mhm.
was about a mile long that we did a circle. But it was awesome. It was
Mhm.
absolutely awesome. People were honking, everybody was really, really nice. We had nothing like that. Nobody was being impatient. Um,
For the
but yeah, it
most
was really
part, it
good.
was a very peaceful event. The police officers that attended were in cars,
Mhm.
that were parked at certain intersections, but they weren't even out of their cars. They were, nothing was amiss. Protesters, everyone was behaved. No streets were blocked. Everything was fine until
Oh,
this guy just lost his patience. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad that that was the only thing though. And I'm glad
Mhm.
that you guys had a nice turnout
Mhm.
for your
Really
parade.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say there were, for a small town like this, there were thousands of people out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was at St. James Park.
Mm.
Went around, ended at like St. John Park, St. John and Second area. Took the husband, took the kids. It was a gorgeous day. Yeah, it was just really, really nice. I was there. I was there, Calvin. I got your picture. Yeah. So there's tons of people, funny signs. There was like some Trump, people all dressed up as Trump and
Mhm.
yeah, it was good to be out there. Um
I
one
had
oh go ahead.
I have it's a little story.
Oh, go
My
ahead.
sister was when she was at UC Davis,
Mhm.
she met these boys, we call them the German boys, 3 boys. And they became all really good friends, and they were here in this country, and they didn't have anything to do for Christmas, so she brought them home for Christmas, and we all met them and loved them. They stayed at our house, and we have kept in touch. That when they were here, they came to vacation to Hawaii with us that year. We became really good friends, and I call them my German brothers. And so this year, one of their daughters came to Petaluma to be an exchange student
Oh,
in high school. And she is amazing and lovely. And she was at the protest with us. And
cool.
her sign read, all the way from Germany to remind you of history or something like
Oh,
that.
that's a good
Right.
one.
I came to make sure this doesn't happen again. And it was a great sign. And we all looked at it and thought, that is powerful. And also, you can't hold that sign,
Oh, why?
right? I could hold that sign. My niece could hold the sign. My sister could hold the sign, but I didn't want this girl to hold the sign because if there were ICE agents there, she's just identified herself as an immigrant or a foreigner. This is a girl
Oh,
who is due to fly back to Germany any day.
but I mean,
She's
she's
here
visiting.
on a student thing. She's been here for 1 year, and she's just about due to leave. And what I didn't want is for ICE to take her to, because what they do is they'll take you to an immigration facility and they sort it out and ask questions later. So was she, this is
Oh,
to my thinking,
interesting.
is she going to get swept up in some type of ICE raid at the No Kings protest? Didn't happen that there weren't ICE agents there, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
And so
I
is
didn't
she
think about that.
publicly identifying herself as someone who could then get thrown into the back of a van, go to a detention facility, and have to stay there for 10 days and go to court and do all these things? And so isn't that fear pushing things down? You see what I mean?
Right?
It's
That's
the
crazy.
fear of
Yeah,
her,
I didn't even
and
think
she's
about
here
that.
legally, but you have to be careful.
I
So
wouldn't
I'm
even
like,
think about that.
she
Yeah.
can't hold that. She's not going to be holding that sign today. One of
But
us who can
yeah.
bring our passport with us and say, American citizen, thank you.
You're
Right?
like, then your sign doesn't make any sense.
Right. I don't care. It's fine. You get the message.
Yeah, I mean, I would not have even thought about that, but yeah, I mean, that's the time.
Yeah.
And isn't that the crazy, stupid thing,
Yes.
right? I mean, exactly, Jennifer. Like, great thinking. Didn't see that coming, but yeah, I would not have thought that at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But yeah, that's quick thinking. Absolutely. I was really happy to be with people that were in the same mindset, and that's what was really, really nice. So,
Yeah.
I'm just hoping for the day that we don't need to do it anymore. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I would really, really like. I did have one story that had nothing to do with any, and it's kind of sad, but I just wanted to like, do you ever watch the Food Network?
Yes.
That Anne Burrell passed away. Do you know who Anne Burrell is?
I do. Yeah. My
She's the one with
husband
the
used to,
hair.
she's got the crazy hair. Yeah.
Yes. She passed
55.
away. I was so
Yeah.
sad. The reason why I was also really sad, the reason why I love her so much, she came on a Zoom during COVID with Marley's Girl Scout troop.
Oh, cool.
I have a picture. That's why I wanted to show it. Here's a picture of when she came on. There she is.
Oh,
And all the
cute.
girls are on the side. She like just did I think she did like some sort of cupcake or cookie decoration or something like that. And she led the girls and all of that. She was just the nicest lady.
That's
And I was like,
awesome.
oh my God, she was one of my favorites to watch. She did like Worst Cooks in America. Did you ever watch that show?
My husband, because I don't cook, and I'm a very bad. And when I do,
Right.
I can bake, but cooking like
Right.
real food, no. And
Yeah.
so my husband always loves to watch that. He's like, you need to go on Worst Cooks on America. So that's how I knew her, and she had such a great personality, and she was funny. Yeah, it's sad to see
I
her
was
go.
so bummed. I was really, really bummed. But yeah,
In her mid-50s, and
I think she was like 55 or something like that.
she was found in the
shower by her husband.
dead by her husband. Awful.
Awful, awful, awful. They think maybe a heart attack or something like that, but
Yeah.
just really, really sad. Way too young. All the like chefs are, putting out, heartfelt messages to her. And it's just stuff like that. Again, you never know, when your time is up. But I just love that. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, not Anne
Yeah.
Burrell. She was one of my favorite chefs on Food Network. So I just had
Yeah.
to give her a little bit of love because yeah, she was my favorite.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's the show. I love you guys. I want to give some thank yous. Thank yous to Luis for always supporting the show so much. It's $2 $5 donations. Thank
My
you,
heart
thank
for
you,
you.
thank you, thank you.
you.
You can always support the show with super chat, super stickers, even during the recording. And of course, our PayPal is always up and running, and our Patreon. You can find all the ways to support us in the show notes. The links are there. All right, so I leave Monday for my cross-country trek. So keep it tuned to all the socials and to YouTube as well. We will be having shows every Thursday, so don't miss any of those as well. I am so excited and nervous and scared and all of the feelings.
It's going to be good. You're going to have fun.
Yeah, I'm really, really nervous though.
You're talking about the Iraq, or the Iran,
everything.
Israel
I'm
thing?
nervous about everything. I'm nervous about the world, the country, and driving.
Yeah.
But I'm going to miss all of you. But I will be there in spirit. And thank you guys for sending me all the safe messages and all that kind of stuff. But I will miss you guys, and I will be back. We will be back live right here. I want to get the date right, on July 24th.
Okay.
We will be still having every Thursday show. So still be here watching the shows and everything like that. All right. I love you guys so very much. Thank you. And take care of each other. Love you. Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.